Shalom Yeladim. Let's continue learning about Rosh Hashana. One of the main mitzvot that we have on Rosh Hashana is to blow the shofar. We know it's a mitzvah because we make a bracha before we do the action. Right, Yeladim? When we have a mitzvah, we make a bracha and then we do it. When we want to light the Hanukkah menorah, we make a bracha, lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah, and then we light the menorah. When we want to eat matzah on Pesach, and it is a mitzvah, we make the bracha al achilat matzah, and then we eat the matzah. On Rosh Hashana, it's the same thing. It is a mitzvah to hear the shofar blow and all of its sounds on Rosh Hashana. And we make a bracha before we blow. What is the bracha? Thank you, Hashem, for being our Hashem, for giving us mitzvot and making us so special so that we can hear lishmoa kol shofar, the voice of the shofar, and then we listen. What do the sounds of the shofar remind us of? There are a lot of different things. Would you like to know? Let's go. First, the sound of the shofar sounds like a trumpet. When do we blow a trumpet? We blow a trumpet when somebody very important is coming to town. When the king is coming to visit, there's lots of music. Lots of people gather together. And there are trumpets blowing, saying, doo-doo, doo-doo, the king has arrived, doo-doo, doo-doo. We do the same thing. On Rosh Hashana, we blow the shofar to say, Hashem is our Melech. Hashem is our King. When we hear the trumpet sound, the big blast, we are saying in our heart, Hashem is our King. But the shofar also sounds a different kind of sound. It sounds like crying. Why would we remember crying when we blow the shofar? Because the shofar reminds us that we've made some mistakes. And we feel really bad about it. And we want to come close to Hashem with teshuvah. So when we hear the shofar sounds, it wakes up our heart. And we know that we're going to try our best to correct our mistakes and come closer to Hashem. What else does the shofar remind us of? Well, if you remember, on Har Sinai, when we got the Torah, there were sounds of shofars. There was lightning and thunder. When we hear the shofar blowing, it reminds us, wow, we are Hashem's children. And we got lots of mitzvot on Har Sinai. And we must never forget that. And we must continue to do the mitzvot every single day with the same excitement that we felt at Har Sinai. That was an amazing day. Everyone gathered together. There were no sick people. There were no people with broken bones. None of the animals said a sound. Everything was quiet to hear the voice of Hashem. We were so excited that our neshamos almost jumped out of us and never came back. It was very exciting. When we hear the shofar at the beginning of a brand new year for us. We think how wonderful and exciting it is, just like the day when we became Klal Yisrael, and we made an agreement with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we would be his people and he would be our Hashem, and we would follow the Torah. Wow, that's something else to remind us while we're listening to the voice of the shofar. We remember also where the shofar comes from. The shofar comes from an ayil. Where do we see the first ayil in the Torah? When Hashem asked Avram to bring his son Yitzchak as a korban. He didn't really want a korban. He was just testing Avraham to see if he had such a lot of love for Hashem. Did Avram? Did he pass the test? Yes, he did. But then Avram was disappointed. He wanted to give something to Hashem, and Hashem made an ayil appear from nowhere, a special one, whose horn got stuck in the bush, and so he couldn't run away. We remember when we hear the voice of the shofar, the sound of the shofar, we remember the ayil of Abraham. And last thing we remember, and what we hope for, is that the Torah says that when the Mashiach comes and the third Beis HaMikdash is ready for us to serve Hashem and to be close to him, Eliyahu HaNavi is going to blow the shofar. And that sound of the shofar is not going to be only for the children of one city to hear, not 2 cities, but for the whole world. Everyone is going to hear that sound and know that it's time to come to Eretz Yisrael, because Mashiach is here. So you see, Eladim, there's a lot of things to think about when you hear the sounds of the shofar. Can you remember them again? Let's review. The shofar reminds us of the king is here. Hashem is the Melech. Good job. The shofar reminds us, that we should do teshuvah and come close to Hashem. The shofar reminds us to be excited for the brand new year, a year full of mitzvot, just like we were excited when we got the Torah on our Sinai.